If you thought Tay Kinney was just going to come down to Louisville and Kentucky, you are wrong. There are other people involved, and I think this one is heating up and it's just beginning. And it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. Tay Kinney, who's one of the top point guards in the class of 2026, 6'2", just slippery, really good point guard, does a little bit of everything, fills up the stat sheet, having a really good summer on a lot of fronts. Top 100 camp was very successful playing for Wildcat Select, I believe it is on the Adidas circuit as well. Adidas Euro Camp, a little bit of everything for Tay Kinney, but one of the top point guards in the class of 2026, the Kentucky native. And a lot of people thought that, it's basically a battle between Pat Kelsey and Mark Pope, but it seems that some other schools are getting involved here. Now, he has a scheduled visit to Oregon during the first week of September. He visited Purdue as well, but there are some new schools that are in for him as Tay Kinney has now set an official visit to Indiana and Texas as well. Ralph, what do we take away from these two schools being added to this?
Indiana makes sense to me. Number one, because where was he playing over the summer? What events?
He's playing at the Adidas in the top 100 camp,
The Adidas and the Adidas and the Adidas and the Adidas.
and he's also an Adidas athlete. Like he just, I think a month ago, he just signed as an
Yeah.
Adidas athlete. Yes.
So that makes sense on top of it being Indiana, right? So I think that you have that connection there. That's a natural fit for what you're looking for, particularly the echelon of recruit he is. Texas is interesting to me because I think, Sean Miller trying to build that program into what he wants it to be. To me, the Texas thing is more of a let's see what Texas can offer me. What are we looking at here from an NIL perspective?
Hmm.
Maybe than the other three, right? Louisville, Kentucky, and Indiana. I think Indiana makes sense from the Adidas standpoint, makes sense from a basketball standpoint. I think Texas, just understanding Texas basketball and the economics around Texas, maybe more of a let's see what the money looks like, and if I could be the focal point here, that's great.
Yeah. Look, I think that I was very much in agreement that I think that he was going to go to Louisville, but I do think other Adidas schools could get involved with this. And we have seen prospects like be sponsored by other shoe company deals that aren't the ones
Yeah.
that are from their school. So it could happen, but I do think that there is a lot of momentum for this. Michael Brown, who recently won the U19 gold medal, was all over Tay Kenny's story being reposted by him. You're also, I think, going to be looking at like what does Michael Brown's role look like with Louisville this year? I
Yeah.
think he's going to be a major factor there. And look, I think that Michael Brown is a way better prospect than Tay Kenny, but I do think Tay Kenny views himself kind of as a guard that could be in that mold. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
This video is brought to you by NBA 2KLab.com. 2K Lab worked with us last summer as well. They're one of our favorite entities in all of sports gaming. We want to show you their college basketball stadium locator challenge game. And I'm going to share a screen right now as we do this. South Carolina, bang. Oh,
Ooh,
okay, that's pretty good. Next, North Carolina. Why are we only getting the Carolinas?
please
Bang.
lock in.
St. John's, that's New
New
York.
York.
Bang.
Where's New Jersey?
We're on fire. Colorado. I actually don't know what state Colorado is.
It's in Colorado. There's a state of
Is that
Colorado.
this one?
It's to the right of Phoenix.
Anyway, you get the picture. This game's really fun. They've got more games as well, like Guess the NBA Player, Mystery Fantasy Draft, and more. Stay tuned for all of the college football content and games that they'll be putting together to help you get the best experience out of college football 26. Back to the video.
I guess I'll ask this. How much should we factor Indiana into this on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm not factoring in Texas. I'm sorry. That official visit is cute. He ain't going to play for Sean Miller. So let's just go ahead and ignore that. Um, I think this comes down to Louisville, Kentucky. I'll throw Oregon in there. I think Oregon's been there for a while. I think Purdue's kind of cooled on him a little bit. I never really saw that as a real
Mhm.
option. So I guess mainly for Indiana, on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious do you think they are a contender or a player in this one?
9.5. Like
Mm.
I think it's probably still Indiana or Louisville and Kentucky, excuse me. But I think Indiana has a chance to be like a fourth of a step behind them. A lot of it's going to depend on what this season looks like, because if DeVries struggles and they finish 15th in the Big Ten, as Rothstein suggests, then it's not a factor. But if they do well, transfers graduate, and there's a giant opening in the backcourt and a need, like if DeVries can then pitch him on like, hey, look what I did with Javon Small for a year. We just had a really good year with Indiana with some transfers. You're going to be the guy at Indiana. You have all the Adidas stuff. Here's some extra NIL incentives that come here as well. You're going to be the guy now running this. That's incredibly appealing. You got to factor that on the same plan as you would Louisville or Kentucky. Doesn't necessarily mean he'd pick Indiana, but I think of the other suitors, Indiana is the other one that can make this a true trio and have like three legitimate hats on the table when he's making a commitment, so to speak, as opposed to just like, oh well, yeah, I'm taking a visit here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. He will be visiting Indiana late August and then Texas in the middle of September. He does want to make a decision before the high school season starts. So, we'll see when that official date will be set and we'll see who will be the beneficiary of Tay Kinney's talents. But it'll be interesting to see how these visits go and kind of how this recruitment unfolds for the top point or one of the top point guards in the class of 2026. We will have updates here on the channel as they unfold.